Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Fire Commissioners to order for September 26th, 2023. All commissioners are present in person. If I could ask Commissioner Fuller to lead us to the pledge, please.
Muscle memory. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, approval of the minutes for the regular meeting on August 24th, 2023. If I could have a motion and a second.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the minutes of the August 24th meeting.
Second?
There's been a motion and a second to approve the minutes of August 24th. Any comments, additions, corrections? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Commissioner comments? Sorry, Commissioner Paul.
Yes, as usual, I'll comment on the report, and the report continues to get better. It's clear, very clear that the chief has picked up the reins well and is moving the engine down the tracks, and we haven't hit anything other than a couple of hogs, but that's what the cattle catcher is for. The webinar was excellent. Thank you. The strategic bridge plan is starting to show a lot of success. I can see that in the report, and see actually things being done, things being crossed out, and a lot of solid plans, particularly the teamwork across the divisions and departments is going very well. There's a lot of that we expected and hoped would happen. You're reaching out and cooperating with other agencies in Zone 3. The fire benefit charge is a good example of partnering with Renton on that. And the communication focus, gosh, this is nice. I hope we don't know how to use it. The software wire, there's a lot of talk about software wires and access to information across the department. That's just, part of transparency is if people not only know what's going on, but they can see it, they can find it. If they've got memories like me, you can go back and look at it again. So great job.
Thank you.
Mr. Berger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just would echo what Commissioner Fuller was saying about the administrative staff report. Again, it continues to be excellent. I wanted to particularly call out Chief Smith for including a brief report on the deployment to Maui to assist the local emergency responders dealing with the aftermath of the terrible tragedy there. On a lighter note, thank you, Shane, for putting in the photograph. I read articles about the banyan tree. I've been there. I've been under the banyan tree a couple times, and it was nice to actually see a photo. Did you take the photo itself?
That one I did not know, sir.
And so thank you for finding one. I couldn't find one on the internet, even though I found articles talking about it. So thank you. And commendation for, and congratulations for an incredible job with the team, the FEMA team going there. Thank you.
Mr. Thompson.
I also echo what Commissioner Berger and Fuller had to say regarding our staff report. Definitely seems to be more inclusive and informative than the verbal reports we used to get. And there's a lot of thought that's gone into it and provides that communications transparency that everybody has needed. Also, Just a reminder, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and definitely need to support that. And by wearing your breast cancer T-shirt and what have you, and show the flag that we're supportive. And that's it. Go Mariners.
Commissioner Benito.
Not to copy everybody else, but I also appreciate the staff report. It's very, very nice to see what's going on and, you know, hear what everybody's doing. Other than that, I don't have any comments.
The only thing I want to say is I'm impressed with the conference room. So I understand there's a few more things to come, but this is certainly a major improvement. So very, very, very nice. So, thank you. Go Hawks. All right. Public comments. Are there any public comments?
If I have one,
Sure.
do I just stand here? Or do you want me to go anywhere? It needs to come up.
You should probably come up closer to the table here.
Do I face you guys? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Mandy Ensign. Last September, my husband Eric was hired at the Redmond Fire Department. It was wonderful. It was great. It's a good department. 3 days after he started, he was fired with no explanation from Redmond at all. We did a public records request, and someone from this department, Nick Gullickson, found out about Eric's job and sent these text messages to someone at Redmond, and he completely lies and slanders my husband and accuses him of stealing $20,000 from his former union. I'd like to give you these text messages as well as the police report that was done to prove that that's a lie. I'm sorry.
All right.
Nick said he stole money from a local when he was president at North County, and that is completely false. North County was a department that Eric was at for 15 years, and he won a settlement when he left because he was treated very poorly. And one of those accusations of misappropriation of union funds was one example of that. And I have the sheriff's report here. It clearly says, after a complete investigation, there's no evidence to suggest any crime. And you can tell how flimsy this accusation is because the sheriff asks the accusers to point out which charges are unauthorized and they can't do it. And the Washington State Council of Firefighters also reviewed it and could find no improprieties. So Redmond says, wow, really? Do you have any record of that? Well, he can't say he has a record because the record shows my husband didn't steal anything. And so Nick says, no record, other than I was the one who went over the books. And he didn't go over the books. He was a part-timer there. He did not go over the books. So to really sell the lie, he said at the time, Eric had already been fired and Rick told us just to drop it because it wasn't worth it. And that was a complete lie because the investigation was in 2012 and my husband was there till 2017. And Redmond said, well, that might just be good enough. And it was. And they fired him. And in a matter of 5 minutes from Nick texting this, it caused so much devastation in my family. It robbed us of our livelihood. It took away our peace and security from my 2 children and irreparably destroyed his reputation. And my husband went into a depression and we were humiliated. And Eric is a wonderful, loving husband and father. And he's a dedicated, excellent firefighter who has a passion for helping people. And if Nick doesn't like my husband, then that's fine. But to send messages to ruin his life when it doesn't affect him at all, knowing he has a wife and 2 kids and knowing it's a lie, that is evil. And I hope that if this is the caliber of people that you have at your department, that's really sad. I have made copies of everything for you. If you have any question about the legitimacy of any of these files, I will forward you Redmond's PDRs. He shined a light on falsehood on my husband, and I'm here to shine a light of truth on him and on my husband's permanent record at Redmond. This is the HR lady's notes, and it says $20,000 embezzlement of a former union. I have the copies here for you. Thank you very much. Would you like me to just leave them here?
Chief, do you want yeah,
To the chief.
give me the chief.
Thank you. I'm sorry I wasn't composed. Okay.
Are there any other public comments? Okay. All right, Commissioner committee reports, I'm not aware of any.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, we'd like to give a brief oral report on behalf of the ad hoc property committee,
Sure.
just to bring the public up to speed. Recently, our previous chief, after consultation with our real estate advisor on this disposition of our surplus property, and after conferring with the City of Federal Way Community Development Department, did agree to include the property in a pending comprehensive rezoning application. If nothing else, just as a placeholder to change the zoning from residential to commercial. And the reason for that is that some indication has been given to our real estate advisor, Heartland, that property may actually be worth more as an industrial commercial use rather than a residential. So a couple of weeks ago, Commissioner Thompson and I and staff had an impromptu committee meeting with Heartland. They brought us up to speed and where that stands. At this point, there are formal proposals that we're expecting from several, they're expecting Heartland from several industrial development companies for redevelopment of that property, for development of that property. Those bids are due, I believe, on October 5th. And I think our board secretary is scheduling a special meeting for the board to review those proposals in the second week of October as well. So just a quick report. I don't know whether Commissioner Thompson wants to add anything, but there has been an indication to Heartland of strong interest. And on that, a strong interest from commercial, industrial end users and developers. And on that basis, we agreed, Commissioner Thompson and I, as your committee, agreed to move this forward to the point where we actually could consider alternative bids to residential, that being commercial. It is always possible if we choose not to go forward with commercial bids, go back to residential, we can simply go to the City of Federal Way and say, please remove our property from that application. But at this point, it's part of that rezoning application. Questions or comments? Commissioner Thompson, did you want to add anything to that?
No, we're just waiting for the timeframes established for the proposals to be submitted and for Heartland to review them and bring them forth to the board for review.
When do you expect the rezone to occur?
And by the end of the year, yeah, there's probably several properties in the application. Staff may have more information than we do, but we did, Chief Matafton did agree to go ahead and include it at the city's suggestion and Heartland's endorsement, because it appeared that there was strong interest from industrial users and developers, and perhaps the value would even be higher per square foot as an industrial zone property, commercial industrial, zone property than it's residential zone. So we can go either way, depends on the outcome of these proposals that we expect by October 5th. Gives us greater flexibility.
Mhm. I think our meeting is on October 12th. Special meeting. with government.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Item 7, resolution 635, flowers and appropriate employee recognition. Chief, if I could get you to read the first and last.
Of course. Good evening. So, South King Fire and Rescue, King County, Washington, resolution number 635. A resolution of the Board of Commissioners of South King Fire and Rescue rescinding and replacing resolution number 332 and resolution 433, and authorizing and directing the expenditure of district funds in recognition of major events in the lives of district employees under specific circumstances. Adopted and approved by a majority of the Board of Fire Commissioners of South King Fire and Rescue, King County, Washington, at the regular meeting this 26th day of September, 2023.
Okay, is there a motion and a second to approve resolution 635?
I move that we accept the resolutions, approved resolution 635.
I'll second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 635. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the resolution, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Resolution 636, purchase of 2 fire engine apparatus.
South King Fire and Rescue, King County, Washington, resolution number 636. A resolution of the Board of Fire Commissioners of King County Fire Protection District number 39, AKA South King Fire and Rescue, King County, Washington, authorizing procurement through a cooperative purchasing agreement for the purchase of 2 fire engine apparatus and equipment from Spartan Emergency Response Incorporated and waiving competitive bid. Adopted by the Board of Fire Commissioners of South King Fire and Rescue, King County, Washington, at a regular meeting this 26th day of September, 2023, with the following commissioners being present and voting.
Okay, could I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 636?
Mr. Chairman, move resolution 636, purchase of 2 fire engines.
I'll second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to approve resolution 636. Any questions, discussion?
Will these be the, essentially the same as the ones we recently purchased, or are we gonna buy an electric one?
They will be essentially the same as the ones we just purchased. Pretty much the exact same specifications with a few.
What's the lead time out now on?
You don't want to know.
Well, I figured that's why
Essentially-
we're doing it, is because it's such a long lead time.
Essentially 16 to 24 months,
15 to 24,
16 to 24.
16 to 24, a lot of leeway in there.
These you just say 600 days.
Yes, the manufacturer is saying 16 months. But we've seen we've seen the industry slide quite a bit backwards in delivery dates. And so 16 months would be ideal, but we are prepared that there might be a month or 2 actually added on.
Dave, by the time these are delivered, how old will the engines be that they're replacing? Approximately 2010s.
2010s, so 20 years, 24 years, 15 years. That's why I don't do math in public. 15 years.
Any other questions?
In round numbers, how much is that?
Each engine's roughly $1 million,
Good.
so 2 million.
10% Washington sales tax.
You feel good?
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no more discussion, all those in favor of approving resolution 636, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, item 9, addendum to Division Chief Smith's contract. You should all see the addendum agreement. Is there a motion and a second to approve that agreement?
Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to move the amendment to Chief Smith's employment contract. Move approval.
Second.
Okay. Through discussion, questions?
I think this brief amendment, one of us ought to read it so that the rest of those attending can, it's short.
The substantive part.
The substitute part, we won't read the whole thing. It's highlighted in yellow on mine.
So the addendum reads, if the employee is deployed on a multi-day deployment that is fully reimbursable through FEMA or the state, and either will reimburse the district for hours accrued, the employee may be eligible for overtime compensation commensurate with state and federal guidelines.
Yeah, I think that's what you're referring to, if that's fair. No, but
Yes, sir.
yes, that is what you, referring to.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yes, thank you.
That's the amendment to the contract.
Addendum. Any other questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor of approving the addendum agreement to Chief Smith's contract, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. All right, MOU, return of unvaccinated firefighters. I think I got lost on this one. Is this one ready to be voted on?
I saw it. I didn't see a document in the packet. Was
Was
there a document?
it in the packet?
Oh, I missed it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but it's the same document we'd seen before.
There's just been some language that the attorney added to it, protecting the district. This is not setting a precedent. So,
Yeah, it was in there, but it was,
Yes, I just missed it, sorry.
okay. All right, is there a motion and a second to approve the MOU on the return of unvaccinated firefighters?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding regarding the return of unvaccinated firefighters.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made, seconded to approve the memorandum of understanding. Any questions, comments?
what's the substance of the change? It's just a summary of what we're changing.
The only thing that was added was down towards the end.
Yes. Here,
It should say that this is not a precedent. You see that part? I don't have a copy with you. Let me have your copy now. I'll read it.
yeah, you probably find it faster now than
We
we
have
have.
legal counsel addresses.
Okay, yeah. What we added was that nothing herein shall be construed as an admission of wrongdoing by the employer as to prior board action pertaining to vaccination requirements. And this MOU shall not create a precedent.
And there's a signature there from the local president,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So the union is bought off.
Okay, all in favor of approving the MOU, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. All right, administrative team report.
Start with Kevin.
Sure. Are we, do you have any questions based on the report that I provided you?
One thing I'd request in the in the monthly reports is a bibliography or a code to all of the acronyms, the initials. Sometimes we can figure them out, sometimes we've used them before, but in the first time you mention it, spell it all out.
Yeah.
And then put it in there so we don't.
I would agree with you, yes, on that, and I will try to do better on it, yes. It's stuff that we're used to hearing all the time, but I know you guys do not always hear them, so yes.
Well, you did it for CRR. so-
I did for CRR, well, because I didn't want to type it out every time also, so there's that. So, and really just the CRR, that was just kind of it's a new thing for us. It's kind of in the line of accreditation, some work I was doing a while back and so forth, but it's really just kind of painting a picture for everybody, what CRR is about and the pieces to it. There'll be a lot of training for everybody. Fire Marshal Nichols has already done some training back at the Fire Academy. We're going to have some other people doing that also. So, but as you can see, and that's why I tried to show them, particularly that second graph, there's a lot of pieces to this. And it's bigger than, it's not just about fire prevention, it's about operations, about responses, it's a whole picture of understanding your community and the pieces to that. And honestly, all that legwork, when we do get back to accreditation and going down that path, that's the legwork to answer those questions, so.
Dr. John, administrative reports.
I have nothing to add to my report. Any questions? I do appreciate the acknowledgement of the room. The teams have put a great deal of work into this. We have we have a budget meeting coming up next month, and I asked that they get the room ready to go so that we could actually have a system that people could hear us on and see the presentations. And they've made a lot of work, a lot of progress in the last couple of weeks. So looking forward to seeing what it looks like next week.
Very. Just for clarification, Mitch is here, isn't he?
It's here.
A couple places mentioned the report you referred to, I believe, on the update of the strategic bridge plan and the implementation of it, that performance evaluations had been completed, but I interpreted that to mean the forms have been completed, not the
Yes.
evaluations,
The
right?
evaluations have not been completed. They're gonna start in 2024, but the actual form, the content itself, took some time to create for firefighters and civilian staff. And so we wanted to make it custom for our organization and not just canned from SHRM. So we added some, our own questions in there. So it took some time, but that part is complete. Next phase is to get training done, which is gonna be done in November.
And then do them.
And then do them in January,
And the goal for completing them is, you said January,
starting in January.
starting in January.
Yeah, we're gonna do the employee reviews, based on the hire date. So.
Thank you.
And the part that set us back was the fact that when we went to go conduct the training, there was so much training already on the calendar in October and the early part of November that it became problematic to schedule training and have it be meaningful and spend the appropriate amount of time. And so the working group asked for an extra month, which put us into first quarter of 2024. The forms are done, the training is pretty well laid out, the dates have actually been set. They just can't get it done in time. We don't want to rush it, we want to do it right.
Thank you.
There's no other additions to the report. There are two things in the report that I would call out. One of them, you guys, the commissioners have already mentioned, and that the deployments to Eastern Washington and Oregon and to Maui. The other one is just the call volume change. There's a call volume spike. If you look at August moving into September, it's a pretty substantial increase in call volume. And that's problematic because that's continued throughout the year. We've seen pretty good bumps from month to month in call volume. So anticipating the year that we're going to end with a higher call volume this year than last year, which simply highlights some of the things we've continued to battle with: need for resources, response capable vehicles, MIH or CARES program that we can augment to what we already have. So some of those things we've been working on are just accentuated because of the call volume. Any other questions from the board?
Is the split, the types of calls, still 75+% EMS?
We've stayed 78 to 82% EMS. In the 11 months I've been here, we've pretty much stayed in that exact range. There hasn't been if you go back and look month after month, there's not a dramatic change in that sentence. 78%, 80%, 78%, almost 80%, more than 78%. So yes, it's been very predictable.
Okay, ready to move on to the budget?
Okay, we are now 75% through the year, and as such, you'd expect us to be at about 75% of the budget. We are currently under budget at 73 83/100%, putting us under budget by 1 17/100%. A couple of months ago, we were sitting around, I think it was 1.88%. In the last couple of months, we've seen that cushion slowly erode as we expected, but we're still doing well for the year. We'll continue to monitor it. Tonight, Summer is here to read the specifics.
All right, mid-month utilities were totaling $148,127.79. Accounts payable warrants totaling $1,330,981.77. Payroll direct deposit for 189 individuals totaling $1,543,523.24. EFTPS payroll taxes totaling at $355,585.97. Medical claims processed as of September 19th, 2023, totaling $105,725.89, bringing a grand total to $3,483,944.66.
All right, is there a motion and a second to approve the vouchers?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the vouchers, pay the bill.
Second.
Okay. Any questions? Okay,
One was, we had received a letter from Eric Quinn regarding cooperative purchasing. Do we need to know anything more, or is it simply we're changing from one company to another?
That should be attached to resolution 636.
It's related to the.
it's related
With
to
the requisition, that's, okay, that's what. We don't need to worry about all this stuff, that Eric is right.
Just supporting documentation for you for purpose. Yes, Eric's right.
We wrote it Saturday night while we were watching TV, so. All right, all those in favor of approving the vouchers, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Or carried? All right. Any last minute comments before we adjourn? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Sounds good.